Hello and welcome back to the Finish Line and Talking Points, our weekend review show, where we'll be going through everything that happened at Newcastle, Newbury and Fairyhouse over the weekend. You might notice we have a sick boy today. Poor Dave is sick. He's at home getting nursed by Mammy O'Keefe. That's cute, isn't it?
In front of the fire with some lemsip, I'd imagine.
Oh, he's just tucked up, nice little blanket now. Mary rubbing his, I was going to say hair, scalp. It's okay, Dave. Get better soon, Dave. You should listen to us. Right, Tom,
Just
how are
want
you?
a day off work, I reckon. Anyway,
How are you keeping?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good weekend hunting?
Yes, thank God. Yeah, I've had a few bad weeks, but I had a really good weekend punting. Thank goodness. Few in France this morning as well did the job for us. So yeah.
Nice. French connections are all.
I'm not after timing because I tipped plenty of winners on the show. So
that is true, and we get. Oh, look, do you like me fire? By the way, the 1 week
you've
given out I've been a fireman.
I love the fire and the picture. Yeah, it's class. It's a really good setup.
Corto made the trip over. I couldn't leave him at home. Plus, Kate wanted him out of the place, so I had to take him.
Oh well, that worked well, didn't it? I've a picture of a painting of Istabrack jumping the last at Cheltenham, and I love it. It's brilliant. And since I moved in here with Siobhan, it's been in my parents' place, and I said every time we go down there, I'm like, where are we putting this in the house? And she's like, when we build a new house, you can put it in your office. So until I build a new house, I'm not allowed to have it.
You should stick it behind your shoulder there on the wall.
That'd be a good spot, actually, wouldn't it? Like that way.
Just over the dead bodies.
Over the dead bodies. And the dead bodies are reducing now, if you see.
Oh, they are.
Keedy came home at the weekend to watch the toy show. We have a family watching of the toy show. And for our UK listeners, the toy show is a chat show like the Graham Norton show, basically. What's that?
Well. Sell it well.
I am going to sell it well. It was a bit crap on Friday, but it's normally good. It's like Graham Norton having a load of kids on, doing a musical and playing with toys, and that sounds really wrong, but it's not like that at all. It's really good. So
sounds so wrong.
Sounds terrible when you say it out loud, doesn't it? That a chat show host has a load of kids on playing with toys. Just doesn't sound right.
Only in Ireland.
Only in Ireland. But yeah, Keedy came home anyway, and she came home to watch the toy show, and it was about 12 o'clock when we were going to bed, and she was like, what is going on in here? So I had to move everything off, so there's only a few of them back on the bed, so that's why. I
thought somewhere else being sent out. I was getting excited there, but
no, I need to do it this week. I have an exam on Tuesday, so once my exam is done, happy days.
Class. Right, we'll move on to some news. And one that's more or less in the headline all week. Oisin Murphy getting his 3-month ban for, how do we put this?
Shagging a bird and getting a rub of cocaine off of her.
There you go.
Presuming it's a her.
What?
Presuming it's a her.
It's a her. That's true. That is true.
That was never disclosed. So let's cover all bases there.
It was sexual intercourse with a partner. What do you make of it? Like,
I suppose it can happen, can't it? But it's one of those, like, I don't know. Look, what else?
Would you be aggrieved now if you're Rab Havlin or anyone else that got done and had the hair samples cleared and look, Oisin gets 3 months. Like, it's not Oisin's fault that he got reduced from, but.
Yeah,
your nose would be out of joint.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's one of those of what else was he going to say? Of course, he was going to say that. And look, it's fine. However, it's not one of these things where sure, that's grand. Yeah, let's move on. And I actually, for once, I'll praise the Racing Post. Lee Mottershead had a piece in there today that says. A piece online says, focus on our own cocaine problem instead of blaming France for positive tests. and the PJA chief came out and said there is a cocaine problem in jockeys in the UK, and look, it's a societal thing. I think there's been a massive rise on it from what I hear and what I see sometimes, to be honest.
It's very easy.
I remember. I don't know if I said on the show. Myself and my dad went to Leopardstown, and I haven't been racing with Dad in a long time, and he's old school, you know. And we're queue for the jacks, and as you get into the jacks, there's a few guys, and they're like, "Sorry, are you waiting for the urinals or the cubicles?" And there's about 10 young lads, the no sock wankers, as I call them, and they're like, "Oh no, we're waiting for the cubicles." My dad was like, "That's a bit fucking strange."
One reason only they're doing that.
I had to fill him in on the way out of why that might be. So it is a societal problem. We're not just going to blame jockeys, but if I was a professional sports person, I would be doing everything I could to run in the opposite direction. I'm not a professional sports person, and I managed to avoid all of that. So it shouldn't be that difficult for them.
Yeah, it's easy for them to get caught up in it, I suppose, especially in the job they're in. He's in the spotlight. He's loaded. He's having women throwing himself at him, I'd say. And like I was listening to Nick Luck this morning on Luck on Sunday, and they were saying, like, if there's, say I handed you a €20 note and someone was using that to sniff cocaine with, and you touched it, you'd get done if you got tested in France with that. So that's how minute it has to be in France for you to get done by it. Like, is it a coincidence that it's only Irish and English jockeys? They're not the only ones riding in France, and like they go ride internationally elsewhere, but it's only in France they're all getting done by. Is that saying something about France's system?
Do we hear about it in France though? As in, do we hear about French jockeys getting done for it? Because we've had a few Irish jockeys get done for it, and I can guarantee you they don't hear about that in France. I couldn't comment. I don't know how many French jockeys have been done for it, but you can guarantee there's been a few.
It has to be. Right, enough.
It's hopefully you can just pick his career up and move on from it, but it is something that I think needs to be addressed. And by God, if you're a jockey, like, you know, just don't be stupid. Just walk away. Well, everyone should just walk away. But my God, if you're a professional sports person,
it's the last thing you need on your plate. Like,
yeah,
like he got 3 months. Like, there's never a good time to get banned, but it's not coincidental. Like, he's out to getting it. When did it happen? Like the middle of the summer or something like that. And suddenly the ban is at the happening in the end of December, the start of December. So
it's like when Nicky Henderson got a drugs ban in June, July, and August.
Yeah. Not that we're insinuating anything.
I've got to plug my laptop in. 2 seconds.
Jesus. Anyway, before Thomas doing that, we're going to start with our review of the weekend, and we will start with Caribbean Boy, the one you fancied last week, and he came on again this week, and he duly obliged. 3-runner race, not rocket science, picked the outside of the tree. Nah, but he done it well. Caribbean Boy, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I was reading one of the comments. He did do it well. I couldn't believe what price he was, to be honest. I was happy enough to back him at 9-4, 2-1. So I was very happy to back him at 130 or a little bit bigger on Betfair. And yeah, he was very impressive, I thought. Jumped well, travelled well. Daryl Jacobs said afterwards that he'd ridden him in a bit of work at home and he knew that he was going to come on for the run. That's why he didn't want to get into a race with Puppy when they turned in. And he held on to him and just had one go at him. And he was convincingly the better horse. He's going to have a mark at least 150 something now. I suppose they have to go into graded races. It'd be interesting to see how they get on.
He was very impressive. He'd done it fairly professionally for a horse having his first run back since, was it March or earlier this year? But he beat, like, Phil around the roof was no mug, really. The ground probably wasn't in his favour, but he beat him very convincingly, and they left Getaway Trump well behind, as we thought might happen. But it's a very encouraging performance. What marks he on now? Would he have a chance of getting into, or is he too high to get into the festival handicaps?
I think it'd be too high for most of the festival handicaps. I think they're 150 something kind of things, but he might squeeze into one of them at top weight. I'm not exactly sure what the conditions are, but I think they'll want to go into graded company with him.
Yeah, he was impressive. Now he's one to keep on the right side of. I'd say now he's not going to be too hyped up. Really, he's just going about his business, and he's one. I'd say now you get a decent price for the next race when he steps up in class.
Yeah.
Right. So that was one on the board for you, and we go for two on the board with Time Hill winning the long distance hurdle with the return of Paisley Park, a further length and a half behind, with Mac Fabulous a further 5.5 lengths back. You must have been pleased with that.
Yeah, he was very, very good, I thought. He travelled well, he jumped pretty well. He quickened up and he put his head down and he galloped. Yeah, really happy with that. I suppose the one we all want to talk about, isn't it, is Paisley Park. Lovely comeback. I'd say the Emma Lavelle team were delighted with that, and I'd say Aidan Coleman hasn't been so happy to come second in a long time. He came off the bridle, he got nudged along. He came with one burst about, I think it was just before the last, and he was always held from then, but he wasn't hard on him. It was a lovely comeback, and if he can improve and build on that, which I imagine he'll be able to, and if everything stays right with him, hopefully we can see that force of old out of him. I don't think there's any reason now that we won't, to be honest.
Yeah, it was with Time Hill now. I think it goes to show how good that Albert Bartlett form is. Like, we'll touch on Monkfish in a few minutes, but the top four in that seem to be at another level. He's one now. I wouldn't dismiss in for the stairs, but now he's really after putting himself forward as, I'm here, I could do this. He's, as you said before, he's a little pony. He's tiny. He's a proper hurdler, and he just keeps battling and battling. He's tenacious little fella.
Yeah,
he's definitely a stayers hurdle contender now. And on Paisley Park, as you said, you can't have a better first run back after a hard problem than that. I don't know, it was me. He didn't really seem to hit his flat spot as he usually done. It was kind of more of a polished performance of a kind of.
Yeah, he didn't hit it as bad as he was one of the first kind of ones off the bridle, but he didn't hit that flat spot when everything else is traveling. Yeah, I'm very interested in him now.
You'd like to see how he performs now. I presume he'll go for the 3 mile at Cheltenham in the January, is it?
Yeah, I've no idea what it's called, but yeah, he won it. He won it before, didn't he?
Yeah, it's the one that bloody Nakarabo won 1 year, beating big bucks.
I'd say I get the name of it now in January. The Cleve Hurdle, that's it.
Cleve Hurdle. Mac Fabulous, non-stayer.
Looked it, didn't it?
Yeah.
I know a few people were saying afterwards that, it was his first try over 3 miles, so they'd give him another go. And yeah, I can see how that comes into it. But yeah, he just looked not to stay for me.
Yeah, I'd say the hill will find him out, especially at Cheltenham. That was a flat track at Newbury. I think the race for him now is Aintree Hurdle at Aintree, obviously.
Aintree Hurdle, Aintree, yeah.
That could be right up his street. Right, move on to the same day. The Novice Chase over 2 miles 7. Next Destination put in a decent display for a second run back. He beat one for the team and Kaluki, who has zero regard for his own life, the way he jumped around Newbury the other day. Richard Johnson
just proved himself.
What?
He just threw himself at fences, didn't he?
It was absolutely kamikaze diving. It was mental.
Yeah. Next destination is going to have to come, I think, if he's going to play a role in the RSA or a national hunt chase. But it was an encouraging performance anyway.
I think he is 4-miler road all over. I think he's an out-and-out galloper. I think I'd avoid that RSA at any cost. The way he traveled through the race and the way he didn't really quicken up. He just kept going and kept going. There wasn't much distance between him and the second. But once he hit the front, he just relentless galloping. I remember when he beat Delta Work up in Punchestown. Myself and Dave were up there. Oh, he's not here. He hit the front again, and he just seemed to keep doing enough. And once he hit the line, there wasn't as Ruby says, if they pull up after the line, there's not left. But he just kept going past it, and it took him a while to pull him up past the hill. I think 4-miler is an absolute ideal race for him. I am interested in that now because I know Paul Lickens, though he likes taking on the big boy, so he probably will go RSA. But if he does, I think he could be an absolute one, very interesting going that way. So that's my thoughts on him. Right, on to the listed intermediate hurdle. What the name of God do you make of this? Floressa winning the pink in second and Milkwood third.
It's just one of those races I just forget all about it, to be honest, to put a line for it. Milkwood was very unlucky, wasn't he? Yeah. Marie's Rock pulled way too hard, hit hurdles, didn't jump very well. Botox Haas ran well considering the weight he had to carry, but maybe he is what he is. Floressa was out in front, stayed out in trouble, just kept galloping, didn't she?
Yeah, I think I'd agree with you. It's a race you kind of just go, it was too mad to be all of their true runnings. Like Maria Rock race was over after jumping the second. She was tugging. Like I text you and said Maria Rock was gone already. Time White was unlucky getting taken down at the stage he done. He's one to look into again. I think Botac Haas ran a good race. He was kind of keen on himself, and he was taking on for the lead, and he was pulling himself. I think if he gets a strong pace to aim at again, I think he'd be another one to take a chance on. Maria's Rock. There was a stage coming up the straight. Was it the second or third last where she decided to go right the whole way across the hurdle and hit about 4 horses? You talk about hanging bastards. It's a hanging bitch. That's an app.
Yeah. Look, she just did everything wrong there for me. I'd give her a second chance, but it wouldn't be with my money on it. Put it that way.
No, not a chance in hell would I back her again after that. I'd leave her on. She wins the next time. Fair play to her, but it's not like it was the hardest race in the world, and she went in with a lofty reputation from last year. But nope, she's gone now. She can do one. Just thought before we go on to the next one, Newbury's card was kind of not great at all. Bar the long distance hurdle, it was much this race really.
Which race? Sorry,
the whole card at Newbury itself.
Yeah, it was fine. But that was it, to be honest with you. Yeah, it was fine. I enjoyed the Hennessy or the Ladbroke simply from the point of view that I was on the one out in front that was jumping like a bunny and galloping him into the ground. I thought he was great, Cloth Cap.
He was very good.
Some disappointing performances in behind him, but yeah, I thought that was a really, really good run. I and the conditional being the ones in behind him, frank that form, I think, and boost it for him. I thought they both ran cracking races. It's mad David Bridgewater, isn't it? You wouldn't notice him having a winner from like week to week, but he seems to land on a good horse every now and again, and he can get it to the big day when he does. He's a horse I'd be interested in again back at Cheltenham.
Where do you think he's going
Um, tough to know. Probably the race he won last year was the Ultima. I imagine he'll go back there again. He's going to have a lot more weight now this time around. So he's been dropped a pound there, which is fair, I think. That was his first run of the season. So he'd have £7 more than he had last year, but I'd at least fancy him to run a very good race in that, even if he might find one better handicapped or two, you know. But yeah, I'd be interested in going back there. Yeah.
Was he not strike as a graded horse now after that? It was impressive now, in fairness to him. Or is he just, or was that just much of a muchness, a glorified handicap? Even though it is a handicap, but you know what I mean.
Is this cloth cap? I was on about the conditional there. Cloth cap, yeah, is gonna go up. He might have gone up already as well. Actually, let's just have a quick look. No, his mark hasn't changed. He's going to go up to high 140s anyway, isn't he? He's going to go up double digits for winning a Hennessy by 10 lengths. And to a racing post rating of 152. I think he's a good handicapper. Is my honest opinion of him. I think he's a bit small as well. I wouldn't fancy him carrying a big weight off levels. He might, as they said, he might be a Grand National horse, and I'm sure with connections, Trevor Hemmings owning him, I'm sure that's where they want to go with him.
Yeah, I presume so. Like, he kind of got his way out in front, and like, it was a good ride. Tom Scudamore gave him a cracking ride, but he's got, as you said, he's going to take some lump in the weights, and he probably done enough there to get into the national. And as you said, with the owner being Trevor Hemming, you presume all roads lead to entry. Right, enough of that yak racing. On to Newcastle. Epitaunt. Like, I wasn't sold on her properly until Saturday. That was absolutely breathtaking. The jump she put in, the distance she put between herself and So Royale with a half a furlong left is absolutely phenomenal. What do you think? Yeah.
I thought she travelled fantastically. She jumps so well. Like, she jumps like a champion hurdler. And at the minute, I have that as what she has over most of them. She obviously has a very, very big engine, and she quickens well, but she jumps very, very well. The only thing is now to crab it a little bit. I know she's bolted up, but the form is what it is. Like,
So Royale is not too bad now.
So Roy, he's beaten Takani and Ballyandy in his last two starts. He ran the Arkle, or he ran the Champion Chase. He was beaten 45 lengths by Politlog. He's one of those who'll be placed in grade ones at the top level, but you'd be surprised if he went and won one, to be honest.
Right, I'll put this to you then. Of the current crop that's in there, what would you put up against her?
What would I put up against her? I still haven't given up on St. Roy. I still think he's got a massive engine. I can't wait to see him go faster over hurdles on a little bit better ground. I think that's going to bring out the most of him. And I know what you mean. And this is why I backed him at a big price for the Champion Hurdle, because she was always there. She was always at the top of the market, and there's no real knocking her, to be honest. There's no knocking her at all. I feel if we find a decent, like a bit of a superstar, she may get beaten by them. Do I think St. Roy is that? Not just yet, but I think he has the potential to be. Abracadabras, I can't have him in a million years. Goshen, where is he? And he's a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
Honeysuckle, I know we were having a laugh earlier. She's not going to run in this race. Constantista's not going to run in this race. For me, the other one now is Aspire Tower. If I was looking to have a bet in this now, him at 20-1, I'd be backing him, maybe even probably each way at 20s, to be honest. I'd be looking at my each way bets a bit more now, but
Isn't he a huge prize considering he's out to beating Abracadabras and beating him well?
Yeah, he is. I take it was Abracadabras' first run. That's fine. But if I was looking for a bet in the race now, he would be it, and he would be followed by Bouvedet at 25 to 1.
Do you not think he's a bit old now? The speed is going to be blunted a bit.
Could I see him winning a champion hurdle? No. Could I see him placing in one? Yeah.
Yeah. Like you go, hold on, I'm just getting it in front of me. You go down through as champion hurdle, like 15 to 8, like it's skimpy. It is a really skimpy. Antipost wise, yes. On the day, would it be? Probably not.
Oh no! On the day she was 15 to 8, I'd have a few quid in her, definitely.
Like then you have Saint Roy who has proven he's on the up. 7, like gosh, and God only knows when we're going to see him. Abracadabras is that you have Honeysuckle, as you said, it's not going to run. Or some people are saying, oh, it's the owners want to run. The owners are not going to run her in the champion hurdle. She's not quick enough. Her jumping isn't quick enough. She's an out-and-out galloper and an out-and-out stayer. And she's a 2 mile 4 hours. Constansista. Let's touch on Constansista for a second. Because I don't have it down. She put in a belting performance over the weekend.
Yeah, and do you know what? This is pure after timing now, but I was sat there and just before the race, I started thinking about it. And I wasn't too surprised. I feel she's a mare that maybe needs to grow up a little bit as well. A bit like Manila Indo needs to grow up. And I think she has by the look of things anyway. She certainly looked deep enough in her girth that she would come on for the run. And yeah, I thought she did that very nicely, to be honest. Queensbrook, look, I hold my hands up there. She doesn't look like she's good enough, does she?
Do you think she's been just run over in an inadequate trip?
Yes, I do. I think she clearly wants a lot further. Do I think she's grade 1 level? No, probably not.
Do you know what the thing I think would be as well? Her win at Gorn was on bottomless ground. She could just absolutely love the mud. And it was a soft day the bumper was run at Cheltenham.
I think so. I want to say so, yeah.
Yeah, I think... Because as far as I know, everything she's ran on this season over hurdle has at least been worst, good to soft. She could be one now that'll come up now in a big handicap where she's getting a nice bit of allowance and will absolutely bolt up, where everything will suddenly click. Like, we have to remember, last year she only had 2 runs in her whole career, 2 bumper runs, and now she's, what's that, her 5th career run the seasons? Look, we'll say she got whooped in that. But you take into consideration her best performance was at Gorn at first start, which was on bottomless ground. And when Gorn gets bottomless, it gets bottomless. So,
and I think like a 2 mile bumper on bottomless ground, all you have to do is stay. So I think she is just a stayer, you know. And I'm just trying to think. The only 3 mile handicap hurdle I think is the Potemps. So I don't know if you'd go for that as a novice. I don't even know if she qualify. Well, I presume she could go and qualify for it if she wanted to, but she'd be one of those that she obviously likes Cheltenham. She's ran very well there. The form of that race is now working out pretty well, and I wouldn't be surprised if she did go and pop up and run a big race there. I'm not completely discarding her as absolute no hoper in anything yet. I just don't think. I think she wants further, but I don't think she's going to be a grade 1 mare, not in open company anyway.
Now, on Constansista, are we setting up a Honeysuckle Constansista for Cheltenham with Benny going mare chase?
I reckon so, yeah. I reckon so. Just because Salsaretta ran the other day and she ran shite. And I think Willie will want to put them in the races that they can win. He knows Constansista has a very good level of form and she's not run over fences. Benny seems to be every bit as good over fences. So that mare's chase is going to be an odd old race. I don't know what's going to turn up in that. So if I was them, I'd be looking at Benny for that, Constansista for the mares. Yeah.
Even you look at it logically now, that looks the logic move. And look, if she turns up in that, there's no two ways about it. She's going to be odds on the day because she will absolutely trounce anything that comes near her. And that there's not going to be any honeysuckle in that race. She'll be miles the best in that. As like Dave putting her up as an Antipost tip about 10-1 is looking nice now. In fairness.
Yeah, I jumped on his bandwagon and had a couple of quid on myself. So fair play to him for spotting that one.
I jumped on it myself. I'm just going to check the price for it right now. You can still get 10s.
Yeah, I think that's very fair. It'll be interesting to see where they start her off this year.
Yeah, after the first run, she's entered in the chase. You'll see that price just go. It'll be gone before she even runs.
Yeah.
Right. We'll move on to the day. Oh, no, actually, a huge tearjerker on Saturday. York Hill. The mad bastard is back. I've never seen him jump so straight in my life.
I was watching it, and again, I backed Watmore in the week at 13-2, and it goes off at like 9-4 or whatever it was. And I saw he was jumping straight, and I texted in the group. I was like, lads, York Hill is jumping straight, because even when he went left-handed before, he could quite often jump into the rail going left-handed. He was jumping straight, and I was like, lads, he's jumping straight, like, Jesus. And then I thought he was going to get swallowed up, turning in, so I was like, all right, come on, Watmore, go and do the business, son. And he kept battling on the inside, and then Watmore didn't want to go past. And I was just watching, I was like, oh my God, like, I really want York Hill to win. It was fantastic.
It's the first time since he won the hurdle race at Cheltenham that I haven't backed him. And I was sick as a dog, but yet I couldn't have been happier.
Like, I was sat there counting my money that I should have won, but no, he was brilliant. And this, even if he never wins another race now, he's come back and he's done that at a decent enough level. And I thought it was brilliant. Fair play to Connection. Connection's actually got a bit of shit when they got him. So when he came over, he had a few ribs showing and stuff like that, and he just needed. What's that?
He was sick, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was sick, like, and they treated him and whatever. And when he came over, and he looked like that. Few people who know absolutely diddly squat about horses were on the old tweet machine, fucking hellhole of a place that is some days, and they were given out to Dave Armstrong, who's a friend of the Wileys who'd taken him on, and he rightly gave it back to them. And one of the best tweets I've seen in a long time was his tweet after it, and he screenshotted the person who had messaged. There was one person who was the main culprit behind messaging, saying like what a disgrace the horse was to them and whatever. And he screenshotted it where that person has blocked him, and he was like gutted.
Well, rightly so. Gee, like next one, what would you do with him now? Where do you go? Do you aim for the stars and run him in the no?
I would try and find a similar race up the north and get his confidence up. If he suddenly, I don't think he will. I don't think he's the force of old. But if he suddenly took off then and started bolting up, carry on. But I'd go slowly with him, bring his confidence together, and keep doing it. So, while we're on about Twitter, before I forget, can we talk about some dickheads abusing 16-year-old? It doesn't even matter that she's a girl. So abusing 16-year-olds on Twitter for putting up tips on a tipping competition that even I don't have the balls to go and do it. So get a life. If any of you are watching this, please, there's a button somewhere that you can hit. And if that doesn't get you off the screen, just hit the X at the top of the corner and just stop watching.
Or fuck off. Fucking
You're
dopes.
just fools. Like, if you cannot see, if you're so transfixed with betting and backing horses that you can't see how the good of the sport, that we have younger people willing to put themselves out there who follow the sport and are into the sport. And in fairness as well, shout out to Sam's dad who videoed it, are supported by their parents. I know a lot of people who say, "Oh, I like horse racing." Their parents are like, "Oh, don't get into that, gambling, all that kind of stuff." So, it's absolutely fantastic that people are willing to do this. And then they go and get abused because they tipped up a 1-3 shot. As she rightly pointed out, she was like, "I'm 16. I don't look at the betting." She was like, "Monkfish was running. He's a horse I really like, and I put him up as my tip." Like, get a life, people. If you're writing stuff like that on Twitter, like, just move out your mom's house. Get a job, maybe get a hobby, play a bit of sport, go for a run. Just don't abuse kids on Twitter, fools.
Like, anyone who follows me knows I had a little saving and I had a pop with them, and I have no problem with it, because the one thing I don't stand for is people belittling people or talking down to people, and bad enough 16-year-old kids. Like Billy Big Balls sitting behind your little laptop there. I guarantee you right now, if you wrote all your stuff on that little Twitter machine and you came across us one day in a racetrack, I guarantee you'd quake in your books if we approached you. And telling you now, I know I'm speaking for myself and Dave, I don't know about Tom, we would go up to you and we would confront you. And it wouldn't be the first and last time we do it. Like, you can sit here and say, "Oh, lads are great crack." Don't cross the line to anyone, especially kids. I 3 kids, and if that happened to any of my kids, God love you. That's all I can say. What
gets me is the accounts that aren't in people's names.
Like pictures of horses.
Some people are just stupid, and it's like some of the stuff with the coronavirus. We won't get into that. It's a touchy subject between the three of us.
It's okay. Dave's not
here. Coronavirus, Dave. But yeah, you click on I've started reading some of the comments under like news outlet pieces on the coronavirus. It is hilarious. Some of the shit that people write, and then you click on their profile, and it's like, I don't know, say they're an accountant. Like, I have no idea about vaccines, anything like that. I'm a bloody accountant. If you're a doctor, I'll listen to what you've got to say. Some of them are just ridiculous. And the shit they come out with is hilarious. Like, think about what you're writing on social media before you write it and how stupid you might look.
I think they just sit there and think of, how can I stir shit up today? Oh yeah, let's just bullshit on Twitter and put up a fake profile or annoys the living daylights out of me. Like, have a pair of balls and just say who you are, write it yourself. People have more respect for you if you're having your own opinion instead of hide behind a bloody Pikachu picture with you sitting in your onesie Mario costume with your little PlayStation 5 next to you with your headphones on, tweeting away to everyone and that, while you're dreaming of having a girlfriend. Twats.
I'm just trying to find this. The funniest thing I've seen in a long time now, right? And it wasn't on social media, unfortunately. It was in a WhatsApp group. And you've just reminded me of it there, Andrew.
Sent me
with your boots, and it was.
I'm getting another pair of something like these, and every week I'm going to wear them, and I'm going to put Andy on it just for the crack.
See that? And he got written Andy on the bottom of his shoes. I laughed for a solid 5 minutes when I saw that.
I literally fell off my chair when I got sent in. Like things like that. That's comic value. That's brilliant. Like, I am going to write Andy on these when I get me other ones, just for everyone. Like, going back to the Twitter thing. It's Samantha Martin, and I put out an invitation for her to come on Wednesday for our Cheltenham Festival Antipost video, where she can put out a view on Monkfish without the dickheads around saying that about her. So Samantha will be coming on Wednesday for our Cheltenham Antipost video. So screw you, you bloody.
But yeah,
Twitter.
final word on it, guys. If you sat there thinking about abusing people on Twitter, just think about it before you do it. Just think about it before you hit send. And especially if it's anybody, any young person who's trying to get into racing and express their view on racing, like, just don't be a dick, you know?
Look, the problem is they can't think, Tom. That's their problem.
There's nothing else to do. Nothing else to do. That's the problem.
I don't take a long walk to yourself. See if anyone misses you. Right. On to today. Enough for that. The Royal Bond. We had Ballyadam putting up a good performance with Castmate, another one, and Ingolo staying on third. Do you still hold host for the Supreme with him, Tom?
And this is where, right, this show, Andrew, was going so well. We've got on really well. We've agreed with each other on lots and lots of things. There hasn't been a row yet. However, you're going to tell me in a minute, I reckon, that this needs stepping up 2.5 miles. And I completely disagree.
Right.
My reason being is they went no gallop, basically. They were, for grade 1, they went pretty slow. He travelled very, very well. And he, as everything else quickened, he was still on the bridle. And everything else got pushed along. He still travelled well on the bridle. And when he squeezed him, he took 3 lengths out of them like that. And that was it, race over. He's given him one little flick behind the saddle. And that's it. It's hands and heels, the rest of it. If anything, that showed me that he's actually got a lot of speed.
Right. I'm going to shock you. I watched it back 2 or 3 times. I think he has Supreme as well. I think he's the kind of stayer in the Supreme that you need. I think I was watching it back, and I'd say the same for N'Golo now as well. He had a bad passage up the rail. He had to switch out, and he came running on again. I think Cheltenham is going to be tailor-made for him as well.
Yeah.
But my problem with it is they have, like, Cheveley Park have probably 2 of the top 5 novices in England and Ireland. Are they going to go for the same race? And if you were splitting them, you split Ballyadam to the Ballymore.
Now, this is the thing, right? It's the 29th of November. So there's what? December, January, February, March. There's 3.5 months to go until Cheltenham. And I am already sick of listening to this. And I am not listening to it for the next 3.5 months. It's already doing my head in. Everybody has an opinion on this. And that is fantastic. Have your opinion. Have a bet on your opinion if you want to. But
Tom doesn't give a shit about your opinion.
I can guarantee you one thing, right? I can guarantee you one thing. Willie, Gordon, or the owners, none of them know 100% where any of those horses are going yet. Fernie Hollow could die in the morning. Ballyadam could have broken down today and could have a tendon injury. You know, they could both get there 100% fit on the day. And until they both get there 100% fit on the day, there's no decision to be made. They both look like 2-milers. Gordon isn't going to say, oh, okay, yeah, Willie, go on then. I think my one wants the Supreme. I think mine would be best suited by the Supreme, but oh, go on then, Willie, you go and run in that race. And at the same time, Willie's not going to say that to Gordon, is he? They're both competitive men. If they think their horses should both go for the Supreme, they're going to say that to the owners. If the owners then want to turn around and say, right, well, we want to split them up. We've made a decision. You're going to run in this race. Fine, that's up to the owners. I don't think the owners are going to do that until the guys come to them and say, we both want to run in this race. There's no point in doing it, is there? It's not like Envoy Allen last year got home by however far it was, not very far, and he was doing it. He won that race looking like he wanted to step up and trip. For me, Ballyadam did not do that. Now, we could get to Christmas. One of them could beat the other one, or Ballyadam could look like he wants to step up and trip. Fernie Hollow could look like he wants to step up and trip. And then we got a different picture. But all the evidence at the minute is I think the 2 of them are best suited by the Supreme, and let's see what happens. But nobody knows, and I'm not listening to any of this that oh yeah, this is going to happen, or Gordon wants to do this, or Willie. You know, Willie has no idea. Gordon has no idea. You know, they'll do what's right for the horse at the time. None of them are set on, right, this is my target yet.
True. If you have, I put it back to you now. If you had the two of them, come March, lining up, decorations, who goes where? And you're
if I owned the two of them, right, and I picked up the phone and said, right, Willie, it's a week before Cheltenham. Where do you want to run all my horses? One of them's Fernie Hollow, and he says, I think he's a supreme horse, and I want to run there, and I really think that's where best suits him. And I ring up Gordon, and he says, Ballyadam, I think he's a supreme horse. He's got to turn a foot. He stays well. I really want to go well. I really want to go there with him. I say, do you know what, guys? Best luck. Yeah, let's both go there. And best case scenario, I'll get the two horses in the first and second slots at the Cheltenham Festival. I'll hold both of them and get my picture taken. And I've had a 1-2 at the Cheltenham Festival. Happy days. I'd be delighted.
That's the thing where I think it could actually happen is that there's two different trainers, and they're probably the top two trainers in Ireland. And I'd say they're at a stage now, the owners of GD Park, that they don't care where they're on. They're in it for the sport now. They're at the spending ridiculous money on jump horses where they're probably going to get little return out of it for their investment. So they're just going to go, yeah, I think he'll go there. That'll go there. Yeah, you train him, you see him every day. You put him where you want to put him. It happened. It's the same thing that happened with Shiskin and Assyrian Phalange this year in the Supreme. The owners, their supporting owners, Willie wanted to go for that, and Nicky wanted to go for it. So he said, yeah, fair away. Why not? But look, time will only tell. Two of them are himself and Fernie Hollow. Look, they'll be the best that we have so far yet. But I am invested in Ngolo because I'm on him for the Supreme at 50s. But I was encouraged from what I seen, even though he did get bet. He got a bad little passage. He ran on the end. I'm hopeful that I'll collect me each way money at least.
I wouldn't be throwing that away at all. And Ruby said, and I definitely agree with him, that a stronger run race would suit that horse. He was keen for a lot of that race, and he may want to step up and trip, but I would prefer to see how he gets on with a strongly run gallop first. Yeah,
so would I. Right, we'll move on to the Drinmore. I cannot get over how good this lad is over a fence. He's in tight, he's out long. What impressed me so much about, we're talking about, obviously, I'm Envoy Allen or Envoy Allen, or whatever way you want to pronounce it. When Assembly came up to him after jumping the second last, Jack Kennedy gave him a squeeze and he nearly fell off the back of him. That's how quick. It was Jack Kennedy actually came on and said, I've never felt a horse take off like he did. I nearly fell off the back of him. It was that quick. He's breathtaking. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, he was fantastic, wasn't he? He's brilliant to watch. Some of those camera angles we had today from Fairyhouse showed him up even better because you can see him getting into his fences really close. You saw then when Assemble came to him, when Jack gave him that squeeze, that he jumped into the bridle and he went that couple of lengths clear. And it was great to see from a side-down angle just how that acceleration over that couple of strides. And I love the way as well that when he's coming into, when he quickens going down to the last, Jack just sits there. He did it the last day as well. He was really wrong the last day. He wasn't as wrong today. He just sits there and he doesn't, like, the horse doesn't slow down. He just goes into the fence flying and he puts his legs right and he gets over them. He's a massive horse. To do that from massive horses is a bit difficult. You know, it's just like being a big, tall, gangly human and running into something and trying to get your legs right. It's not the easiest thing to do in the world.
He's very clever.
Fantastic. Yeah. Now, look, before everyone's going to get on to me again. I put it up last time. I said about the tongue tie. A few people said to me, "Oh, you laying him?" I was like, "No, he'll beat these going backwards." The tongue tie is just in the back of my head for if Cheltenham comes up soft or heavy. Not saying it will, it could do, and he's coming up that hill and something challenges him. It's just in the back of my head. It's why it's not why I won't back him. He's going to be too short of a price for me to back him, but I doubt I'm going to lay him, to be honest, unless he shows something drastic in his next few starts. He looks a superstar. I really hope he is. The only thing is, though, I know he's done it very well today. He's beaten F4, though, hasn't he?
Yeah, when you look at what he is beating sweet fuck all, really. But it's the way he done it. He jumped the second last and he was still on the bridle. And I think Jack Henry was just literally taking the piss out of Rachel Blackmore, leaving her come up next to him to give her the false hope. Oh, you have a chance. No, you don't, boy. It was a split second, bang, I'm gone. I don't know, but I've never seen a horse take off so quickly and put daylight between, like, especially a chaser, his size. His acceleration is exceptional. He showed it as well at Cheltenham last year. Like, anyone who only casually watches racing and tuned in to watch Cheltenham and seeing this horse 10 lengths back coming to the last in the Ballymore, they would have never given him a chance of winning this. All of a sudden, Davy gave him a squeeze and off he went. Like, I know you have the tongue tie in the back of your head, but does the acceleration and the way he just keeps going, does that not negate it? What you're trying to? I think you're thinking about it too much. Looking at him.
No, I'm not even thinking about it too much. He hasn't shown me that it's going to be a problem yet. He showed me the last time that it probably isn't a problem. He did carry his head a bit to the side. He didn't really do that today, so that was very good. He jumps fantastic. He travels fantastic. I'm looking forward to a proper horse going to take him on now. But this is the thing, Andrew. Who is the horse that's going to take him on? I don't know. I don't know what can take him on, to be honest.
Everyone's going to be scared shitless of him. Like, I know this whole thing, never be scared of one horse. But there's these times where some horse just comes along and you go, why would I risk my horse emptying his season out going against him in the middle of December? Like, there's going to be the next race. He's having one more run and it's at Punchestown, the grade 2 over 2 mile 4. So there's nothing going to go near him that close to Cheltenham, a month and a half away from Cheltenham. So he's going to have another schooling session. And then you go, the closest horse that's going to be at a very decent level is Chantry House. And
he's not Envoy Allen's level, is he?
No. He's currently second favourite in the betting for us. But there's nothing going to get near him, really, is there? I think we're only going to find out how really, really good he is when he steps into open company. I genuinely think that... Go on.
Yeah, no, and this is what I was thinking today. And I just seen it pop up there. 7-4 is still a price. It is. If you gave me to 7-4 on the day of the race, I'd have the lot on him. I'm not going to back him in November at 7-4 is the problem. I don't think there's anything that could beat him in that division at all. I think he'll win. He'll win the marsh. He'll win the marsh doing handstands, to be honest, unless it comes up really heavy and that triggers his wind. But even then, I still think he'd beat. Looking at that field, I still think he'd beat whatever's there. The thing is, right, and I was thinking this today. He's such a turn of foot like that. Where does he go when he goes into open company? Do you go up to 3 miles, do you? And then are we talking 3 mile, 2.5 for a Gold Cup?
That's what he was bought for.
He got so much speed, though.
I know,
but nobody wants to be the middle distance horse, do they? So he's going to have to go up and trip. But
I know people are going to say I thought an absolute shite, but could he be the next him? He had speed, he has stamina, he had it all. And he won 2 miles. Envoy Allen had to win 2.
And everyone wants to take the piss at me or whatever because I've put up one reason why he could get beat or whatever, right? I sat there today and that was the horse who I thought of. I was like, this could literally be the next Quarto star. If he stays, and there's no reason to suggest he won't stay, He drops the bridle. He just travels nicely on it. He's not keen. He could stay. He is the only horse that has reminded me of Corto Star.
Everything is so effortless. No matter what trip he's doing it over, he's able to go a strong gallop. He can make the run, and he can sit behind. He can sit out last. He can do anything. Everything is there. If he stays, Jesus Christ, he could be the next reincarnation of Corto Star.
And like a few people saying there are like, you know, nothing beats him, Tom, whatever. He'll never get beat. Corto Star got beat. You know,
like
most of them get beat at some stage in the career, especially national hunt horses. So I've no doubt he'll get beat, lads. That doesn't mean if he gets beat someday, I'm not going to sit here and go, I told you so, he got beat. Like, you know, he probably will get beat, but so be it. He can still be an absolute superstar and get beat.
Like, I'm the first to say, oh, this lad is unbeatable. Yeah, I think he's unbeatable this season. He'll go into next season, and I'll obviously I'm going to say I think this fella could be the next big thing. But as you said there, like, they all get beat. All jump horses get beat. The only horse, correct me if I'm wrong, that hasn't never been beaten is Covega, but she might have got beaten in her first run or something like that. But majority of them, 99% of them get beat. And I think them getting beat and then coming back is what makes them the superstars they are. Like, Corto got beat by Denman in the Gold Cup. He comes back the year later and beats him. Sprinter Sacra. Like, the list goes on and on. Yeah, like I blow smoke up his hole as much as anyone because I think he's the best thing since sliced bread. But I'm just had to catching on to him since his bumper days. But I'm under no illusion that there will come a day where he probably will get beat. But if there's about a 3% less, no, there's about a 1% chance that he'll go his whole life unbeaten because 99% of them get beat. But until the day he could easily top up as well. There's so many things could happen in jump racing that could be the downfall. But until that day happens, I'm literally in love with this horse.
He looks fantastic. I love watching it, and without doubt, like he's the horse at the minute who I look forward to watching most. The way he jumps is just fantastic. I can't wait to see him. I just don't know what can take him on this year, so I'm looking forward to next year now when something takes him on and he steps up into open grade company and we see how he gets on. It's like, for me, what it's like at the minute now is it's like the college quarterback who's the absolute star. It's like Patrick Mahomes when he's in college, and Patrick Mahomes then has to come to the NFL, or Baker Mayfield, and you get to the NFL and you're like, yeah, you're a star in college, pal. What way is your career going to go now? We've seen a lot of stars in college go to the NFL and they haven't made it. And then you look at the likes of Patrick Mahomes, who's come to the NFL and he's actually bossed it. So let's hope he could do that. But we are very much at that level with him.
And like he's that much following now. He's the kind of horse, like, you don't have to have an investment in him, like a money investment in him. Like, I haven't backed him at all this season. I just love watching him. Everything he does, just his jumping, his traveling, everything is just. Who was it? Was it Ruby or Ted Walsh said it today? Or was it Davey? One of them said, if you watched this race today and you weren't impressed and you haven't fallen in love with this game, turn off this channel now. He's just magical to watch. You don't even have to have investment in him. Like, I don't know. I can't put into words how good I think he is. But look, it's not a secret. Like, it's Envoy Allen. Everyone knows how good he is. But
and I'd go all the way back to his point-to-point days. And I know a couple of lads who work in bows. And there's two horses who I've heard. There's one guy who I know and has given me a help out with horses before and stuff. And he's only spoken to me in this way about two horses. And they were Sam Crow and Envoy Allen. And like they knew he was a star. He's always shown that ability, like all the way back when. So Like, yeah, look, hopefully he's one of the first to go through his whole career unbeaten and he bolts up in the Gold Cup. You know, we'd love to see it. That's why we love Corto Star. We love Denman, and you know, we love those horses because of that, and they're champions. And let's hope he can do it.
Here's hoping. Moving on to another unbeaten horse, and the Queen is back, but she gave me a little heart attack. I'm not going to lie. Honeysuckle wins the Royal Bond for the second year in a row, beating Ronald Pump. She
does that, though, doesn't she?
Yeah, she done it in the Irish Champion Hurl where she kind of took the Pistons.
Yeah,
said, "Come at me," but it was a good ride by Rachel, considering she was going against race fit rivals. So they're not world class beaters, but they're decent horses. Like Ronald Pump was placed in the stayers. I thought it was a very good ride to kick on when she done, especially when it was only her first run of the season.
Yeah, I thought she was good. She's just really tough and hardy, isn't she? I was watching the race back, and she puts her head down, she puts her ears back, and she gallops hard. She's unbeaten. Look at her, she's unbeaten as well. Like, you know, and she's a real tough, hardy mare. And I think the Mare's Hurdle will be a good race between her and Constansista, but I think she's a better horse than Constansista, to be honest. And I'm really looking forward to her. I thought Ronald Pump ran a lovely race. He really stayed on well, so that was good to see. He's a bit of a live wire, isn't he, for a place in a Stayers Hurdle, and yeah, he'll be a bit of a price because he's trained by Matthew Smith. But that would not put me off at all. Matthew Smith's a very good trainer. He's got an 11% strike rate in the last 5 seasons over jumps in Ireland. That's good. Trust me, that's good. In Ireland, it's very competitive, and that is a very good strike rate. Also trains on the flat. It's a dual purpose trainer, and 11% strike rate on the flat as well. So, yeah, that would not put me off in the slightest. And I'll be having a little look come nearer the time what price he is for the stayers, because I wouldn't mind a little each way play or a place play on him.
He'll surely be 16s, I'd say, on the reasons what you said there, because who he's trained by. But
yeah. Can we just put to bed more news on horses going to different races? Honeysuckle will not run in the Champion Hurdle.
Well, like, who said that? I heard that today.
They didn't run there last year, lads, when she'd come off the back of winning the Irish Champion Hurdle. It's just not going to happen.
What was it? Oh, the owners wanted to do it. No, they don't. There's not a hope in hell. They're going to go back and they're going to defend the race they won. They're going to win it again. They're going to have another grade 1. And all going well, if Punchestown goes ahead, then you can try over 2 miles against the best. Why do it at Cheltenham?
Run her in the Irish Champion Hurdle against the best of them, and then go and win the mares at Cheltenham.
Yeah. Then go off and run in either the grade 1 at Punchestown, the mares one, or you can run in the Champion Hurdle at Punchestown. Like, the owners want to have a winner, and she is head and shoulders the best in that race, and it's a grade 1. Why wouldn't you? Like, there's the sport of racing, but then there's the logic of how often am I going to get a mare or a horse, let alone that's this good, that is favored for a championship race at Cheltenham again? Very small.
Can we just touch on Ronald Pump's trainer, Matthew Smith? Just someone put up how many winners to runners, because stats can be manipulated. 100% they can. On the flat, 26 winners out of 240 runners in the last 5 seasons. And over jumps, 37 winners from 349 runners. So there's a decent sample size to judge them off there anyway.
Now, just to say, I cannot see Andy's comments. I'm so far away from the screen, and I forgot to put up the other one. So we're going to do before we do the questions, performance of the week, Tom.
Yeah, like so much, like all round, you want to say Envoy Allen, don't you? Like, he looks the most promising and the most exciting. he hasn't beat much. I thought Time Hill was very good. And I thought Caribbean Boy was very good. And I thought Clothcraft was great in winning the Hennessy. Jesus, it's hard. I look visually, Envoy Allen was great, wasn't he? He's exciting.
Betting wise, then.
Betting wise,
week.
Oh well, Clothcraft winning at a decent price was very nice. Caribbean Boy again, and Time Hill. I know I'm going around the houses.
Weekend.
I know I'm going around the houses there. Yeah, I look. Envoy Allen was the most impressive by a good bit, I think, for me. There were some nice performances, and who actually ran again today, lads? Behind Envoy Allen was Cocoa Beach, and all is definitely not lost on him. He finished fourth. He finished 4 for 4. He was only beaten 16.5 lengths. He was looked after. He wasn't given a hard time. Hopefully the handicapper looks at that. Home by the Lee is right 138, and he got beat by him. A mark around his hurdle mark of 140 would be perfect. Thank you very much, Mr. Handicapper. Ran to Racing Post rating of 140, and he is very much still my my Cheltenham handicap plot job.
He is an absolute plot job if ever was a plot job.
Yeah, right. I'm looking forward to him.
I'm going to have to move close to the screen now because I can't see a blessed thing. Give me 2 seconds. This is so unprofessional, but anyway.
That's a good question from Alex there.
Hold up now to get with you. This one?
Yeah.
Would you back Envoy Allen if he showed up to a champion chase this year against Altior and Shaq? Ooh. Yes.
Price dependent, but I wouldn't rule him out of it at all.
Yeah, he won't be favourite.
Well, no, Shaq gonna be favourite, and I'd say he'd maybe even be second favourite, and then Altior.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd have confidence in that.
Where was Aaron's one there as well? Because that was my tip didn't run.
Tom, yeah, go on.
Tom, you're still on Quilixios for the Triumph. Zana here bolted up today. He is the Triumph winner. Backed him at 33s for it. 33s looks a very good price, Aaron. I wouldn't knock that at all. My only thing is, if you would have asked Gordon Elliott if he had a Triumph hurdle winner, he would tell you it was Quilixios. The fact that Zana here has probably put up the best performance in Ireland this year, and they still have Quilixios to come. I'm not too worried. I'm glad it's from the same stable, to be honest. I'm still happy with Quilixios, but Zana here at 33s, I wouldn't mind some of that either.
Next one, Tom Johnson. Do you think that Antipost betting markets this season are questionable in terms of horse racing betting / etc.? Are the bookmakers catching on, or do they think more money is being placed? Tom, this is your territory.
It's definitely not more money being placed anyway. You just got to play. It's like everyone gives out. So everyone will sit there now. Oh, he's been slashed and he hasn't beaten anything. Play the game, lads. It's like everyone giving out when that horse wasn't trying. Like we've got a famous one on this one, and on this show, and picking when the day was, and I had a proper bet when I thought the day was. Play the game, the rules are what they are. I'm not going to change them. You're not going to change them. Play, if you want to have a bet, play the game, and this is a case of game playing with a lot of my selections this year as well. It was like Manila Indo 2-11, and he's 7-8-1 when we backed him at 10-1.
Actually, touching on that kind of thing, we forgot to mention Monkfish. I done the exact same thing that you done there. I had him back to 12-1 already, and I went in again at 9-1 before he won. I think he's in as 4-1 now. And what was he, 1-3?
Yeah.
Like that's exactly what Tom is saying. You play the game, you look at it smartly, it was going to be obvious that he was more or less, if he is the horse that we think he could be, which he showed that he could be absolutely unbelievable, they're going to slash him straight away. So he's into 4-1. It was an obvious bet, especially when he was that price. That's what Tom is saying. Next one. Andrew and Tom. Best Antipost double. Jesus. That we have on? I don't have any good Antipost doubles.
I mentioned my bet, didn't I?
Which one?
My bet for $500,000.
No.
So I've got a bet, lads, to win £500,000. To be precise, 496 grand. I put it on throwaway fiver. These are the horses. And I kind of said, look, it's chancy to just stick on for a bit of crack. I always put I always back singly for Antipost bets. And I always put one random accumulator on just to win like the thanks, Chris, but I won't be in work. Andrew, the thanks, Chris, but I won't be in work on Monday bet.
That one, I love that bet. I have about 10 of them.
Yeah, you pick up your best one. This is my best one anyway, right? So Ballyadam for the Supreme, 20-1. Shishkin for the Arkle, 4-1. St. Roy for the Champion Hurdle, 20-1. Easy's Lands for the Cross Country, 2-1. And Sire de Burley for the Stayers Hurdle at 14-1. So that's my best bet at the minute. And if anybody tells me that Easy Land is injured, join the queue of the Cheveley Park debate, please.
Remember when Tom used to be really reserved on this? Love the new Tom.
There you go, Puzzle. There's your update. It's fine.
I have two. I have a fiver that's worth 80 grand. It's not going to happen, I doubt now. The first one is definitely going to leave me down. Captain Guinness, 20-1 for the Arkle. Goshen at 5s for the Champion Hurdle, and Allaho for the Ryanair. It's worth 80 grand. Then I have a Euro free bet that I put on. Shiskin for the Champion Hurdle, the Arkle of 5s. Goshen of 5s for the Champion Hurdle. Monkfish, 8s for the RSA. Envoy Allen, 92 for the Marsh. And Allaho for the Ryanair at 12. That pays 810 grand.
Jesus.
Buzzing with that.
Have the mortgage paid off, Andrew?
That's a new house built, Tom. That's
a new house.
Built. Right, back to the questions. Enough for Dubai ones. Any news on? No, not yet. As far as I know, I'll try to find out. Jay, if you're watching, what is he still alive?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about him since he pulled up. It was a bit disappointing, but
it's not beyond the realms of possibility that he could be going back over hurdles. He's still only 5 or 6, 5, 6.
Rangers are top of the league. That's something that is true.
Oh, Kubo. Oh, you walked into that one. Is Castmate the horse to follow this winter? The softer, the better, in my opinion. He ran a very good race today for a horse that was off so long. He could be one to. I think he'll pick up a grade 2. I don't know if he'll pick up a grade 1.
I wouldn't underestimate him wherever he went next, to be honest.
He's good. What would you have next destination? Or say nope. I'd have him in a 4-miler all day long.
Aaron.
What?
Aaron's what? Further on from the bottom.
Oh. Tom, any news on the mare? Here we go.
Yes, this is what we want to talk about. We'll talk about this all day. Shauna Ausick runs hopefully on the 14th of December at Nice. Is the latest update. she is working well at home and she's schooling well. It'll be a nice place to start off. I don't know. She hasn't done any proper hard work for us to know whether she's going to bolt up first time or anything, but I think it's going to be first time out over hurdles, find our legs and see how we go. And if she could run a nice race, we'll go from there.
So what Tom was trying to say, this is the accountant Tom talking. She's going to go to Nice. She's going to pop out in front. She's going to ping fences, hurdles, and she's going to go 6 lengths clear at the second last and bolt up. And she goes from 66-1 into 10-1 for the Mayor's Novice Hurdle at Cheltenham. Then we get our nice little member badges. Come March, restrictions are lifted. We can fly over and we have balls up in Cheltenham. And who cares where she finishes? We're at Cheltenham. That's what Tom was trying to say. We were just in between the lines somewhere.
That's the dream, isn't it? In
Stop.
reality, I'd like to win a maiden hurdle at Tremor and I'd be happy.
But Tom, look, the way 2020 is going, Liverpool won the league. Waterford drank something magic at half time yesterday.
What happened at half time for that? That was ridiculous. They were getting Waterford won the All Ireland semi-final against Kilkenny yesterday, lads, and Kilkenny were hopping them. I nearly kind of stopped watching halfway through the first half. They were destroying them, and Waterford came out in the second half and completely flipped the table and absolutely annihilated them. I've never seen Waterford play that well.
They absolutely battered them. That was it. The last 20 minutes, I think they scored 111 to Kilkenny's 4 points.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It was insane. Limerick won today, so Limerick will be favourites for the All Ireland now, but it's 2020, and if you're a Liverpool fan from Waterford, it's been a strange year.
It's going to happen. It's typical of 2020. We can't go out, we can't go to bars, and they're going to actually absolutely win the All Ireland for the first time. What, 1960 something?
No, it's 1956 or something stupid.
1956. And so look, the same thing happened. Tipperary and bloody Cavan.
Yeah,
it's going to happen.
Andrew, me and the lads were there in January planning our trip over to Liverpool for the celebrations. Right, all this happened, and I was in bed actually the night we won the league, and the same is going to happen with Waterford. Like 30 years for Liverpool, you can't celebrate it. God knows how many years for Waterford, and we can't celebrate it. Like,
anyway,
it's just terrible. But anyway, I had my little rant on Twitter about COVID, government restrictions. Finally done my head in.
Right, we'll finish on one more question. We're now on 20 minutes in. People are sick of listening to us now, I'd say. We'll do two more. One from Robbie. Thoughts on Flint or Sacra?
Too keen. Didn't jump well enough. Nice horse. Will win races, but probably not a grade 1 horse.
Yeah, he's not as good as his brother at all. No. Last one. Finish on a nice one. Favorite jockey at the moment?
Sorry, I'm just reading Jamie's comments, slagging us. Sound, Jamie. Cheers, mate. Dave's parody account, I imagine. This is an hour I am never getting back. It's like watching the Blair Witch Project again. Bring back Bold Dave.
I would, only for he's sitting on his couch getting his scalp drawn by his mammy and telling him everything is going to be okay, Dave.
Thank you, Jamie. Useful insight on some horses. What was the question you wanted to ask? Favorite jockey?
Yeah.
My favorite jockey, obviously, other than AP, riding at the minute, it's probably Rachel Blackmore. I just think you look at her as well, and she doesn't even look that effective, but she just gets everything out of them. She gets absolutely everything out of them. And to look at her, you wouldn't think, God, yeah, like, you know, she's power packed, but she doesn't look like McCoy. She doesn't look like Ruby, but she just gets everything out of them.
Yeah, I agree. She's become an unbelievable jockey. Yeah. I think Davy's still the best out of a lot of them, still riding when he comes back. But Rachel at the moment is riding out of her skin. Oh look, one more, the hell with it. I like this one. What's the one Cheltenham Antipost bet you regret placing?
Well, I'll go first because you've probably got about a list of 20. Mine's Queensbrook for the Mayor's Novice. Yeah, whoops.
Well, mine's probably Captain Guinness.
Have I cashed out on Simply the Bets, Cubo? I backed Simply the Bets last week at 40s. And that was one thing I actually wanted to mention because Caribbean Boy is entered in this race as well. Is the Caspian Caviar Gold Cup at Cheltenham in 2 weeks' time, I think it is. Caribbean Boy is entered in that, and that would be interesting if he ran. Simply the Bets is entered as well. I presume he'd go there, and I think that'll tell us everything, really.
Right. Oh, wait. This one's actually... Do you think Paul Townend or Jack Kennedy could be champion jockey at the festival? They probably had the most horses to go to Waterford, so yeah, probably. Either or, really.
I'd say it's nearly nailed on now, especially because you take a Barry Geraghty out of the mix because it looks like JP is going to use an array of different jockeys. Like Mark Walsh will have plenty of rides, Aidan will have plenty of rides, John Joe O'Neill Jr. will have plenty of rides. So yeah, I'd be looking at either Jack or probably more likely Paul Townend as being nailed on, to be honest.
Yeah. Right, we'll end on that. So as you always, we will be back on Wednesday for our weekend preview, which will include the Tingle Creek return of Altior, and they're back over the national fences at Aintree. So again, lads, thanks for joining us live, and give us a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and keep the comments coming below, and I'll get back to them sometime this evening. So again, lads, thanks for watching, and we will see you again on